Hello and welcome to the Warp Sword News. I'm Gus.
And I'm Sean.
We're going to go through some recent Games Workshop news that were recently released.
We are, Gus. This is an extra special one for you because I know you're a corn collector of sorts. You tend to like the demons, but hopefully we're going to go through some World Eater releases today. We're going to look at some models and you're going to be astounded, and hopefully you want to add some Chaos Space Marines to your army. And then we've also got the Book of Omens series we're going to quickly brush over, and then if we have some time we're going to look at some other unique models that are coming out. But let's start with the World Eaters. I'm going to ping you over a link that you need to click on, and we're going to look through these models, starting with the 8-bound and Exalted 8-bound.
Why are they, do we know why they're called 8 specifically and not like 7 or 6?
Yeah, we do. So each of these Space Marines, so the 8-bound specifically, looking at them first, they have 8 corn spirits possessed in their body with them, and they're constantly fighting against these other 8 spirits for dominance of the body almost.
They're almost like a blend of demons, right? A blended instead of a single malt.
That's right, yeah. They're alcoholic. It's a very good sort of exorcist spirit type deal here. Not too drunk, but definitely brawling.
And they seem very melee heavy. They don't have any like massive laser guns.
Gus, are you kidding me? You connect corn. They are it's all melee. He hates ranged weapons. He hates psychers. It's all, they want to get up, down and dirty in the pack, brawling all the way.
I'm sure I have some kind of demon with a big turret face thing that shoots like skull things.
Yeah, so you can add some ranged weapons in, and obviously Khorne ultimately needs to have some ranged weapons because strategically to win a battle you kind of need some, but ideally Khorne wants you up close personal and in the fight with fist if you can. If not, then a sword or an axe. Whatever happens, you need to take that skull off their head and bring it back to his skull throne.
Sounds fair. I see one of these models has got like a circular disc stuck in his hand as if he's had a recent accident, but then decided to use it as a weapon.
Which one are you looking at?
That's the second set, and there's the one in the middle.
Oh, you've gone down. So these are the Exalted 8-bound. So the more demonic type models you're talking about.
Oh, these are the elites, are they? These are the hardcore guys of the 8.
Yeah, so this is when being an 8-bound has gone wrong, basically, and you've lost the fight against the demon, or one of the demons, one of the 8 demons that's in your body. You've lost the fight against them, and they've become dominant, and you've been relegated, basically, and you have no more control over yourself, and the demon is now using you like a puppet.
Right, I see. So it's kind of, they've lost the health and safety on here, because I can see one's got some feet missing, and one's got a hand missing, and then one's got like another hand missing. So it's almost like random which body part they lose to the demon.
Listen, whatever happens to these, they just want to make themselves better killing machines. Basically, that's all they care about. They just want to kill things as quickly as possible. No pain, because then obviously that would empower Slaanesh. They want to just quick death, kill, make the blood flow, move on to the next target. Let's take some skulls.
Seems fair. It would be quite funny to wake up one day and go, I wonder what body part's going to demonize today.
So I'm pretty sure the demon takes the whole, control the whole thing, but good point. Maybe there's a couple of demons that are like jostering for control, and one's got one arm and the other's got the other.
Very handy.
Very, very handy. Yeah, very handy. And they're covered in skulls, obviously, and sharp things.
Nice. So how do you pronounce this next, guys? Is it the Jackals?
The Jackals.
Jackals.
Yeah, the Jackals. So I don't know loads about the Jackals, but again, they're a Khorne unit. They just want to take skulls, basically. They're in there. They're gonna fight to the death, and hopefully they're gonna win. But yeah, these models, they're a bit more. They're not. They don't look as cool, as a Space Marine, the Chaos Space Marine type units. I don't think, but they're all right.
They're very health and safety conscious as well with all these masks they're wearing.
Yeah, I don't think Khorne cares too much about health and safety.
Everybody must care about health and safety, so otherwise, what world are we living in?
Yeah, well, definitely not so much the health. I mean, safety too. I mean, they are covered in spikes again. One of them's got some sort of spherical casing full of skulls, you can see, which looks like it's some sort of implement to hit things with, full of skulls, to take more skulls. Yeah, they do all right. I prefer the Space Marines. I think you could probably just fill out your units with these cultist types. But it's the same when you look at the Gene Stealer cults. I've never been that fussed about Gene Stealer cults. They're just similar to these guys. They're mutilated or kind of changed humans of sorts, if you know what I mean. What's the word I'm looking for?
They've gone out on a bender, I guess, are they?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Either way, they're just like kind of normal humans with a little bit of a change to them. I prefer the more kind of like full-on Xenos or the full-on demons or the Space Marines, obviously, because although they're kind of human in a way, they're not really. They're superhumans.
Yeah, I have the same philosophy, but I got to say, though, they do look pretty nice, though, like quite heavily detailed. I mean, they wouldn't be out of place. Like, they're not an old-fashioned model design. They look pretty well done.
Yeah, they look all right. They're, I mean, they're pretty ripped. I guess you have to be if you stood up against Space Marines and other forces that are hyper advanced. But
yep.
they've got to have some sort of empowerment, I'm sure, as well, as they seek Khorne's favour in the fight. But yeah, cultists. And then if you move down, we've got a Lord on a Juggernaut. I think you've got a Juggernaut, haven't you? With your bloodletters.
So I've got...
Is that right?
It's almost the dog versions of this. I'm not sure what you call that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I can't remember the name either. But so they're similar sorts of things. I think you can get a bloodletter on a Juggernaut. Sort of riding one of these dog / ox / bear type demon animals. A Juggernaut type thing. But yeah, so this is a Space Marine on one, a Lord, obviously, Space Marine on one, and he's charging around. He's taking even more heads because he can get there even faster.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, looks good to me.
Yeah, so I mean, looking at this now, Gus, obviously you do have a heavy demon-based army. How would you feel about putting some Chaos Space Marines in the mix? Because the World Eaters, they are specifically Khorne. They've fallen to Khorne. They were one of the earliest ones, actually, I think, that fell to Chaos. Angron didn't take much convincing. We'll do a lore video on Angron at some point. Do you know what the defining feature of Angron is? Because we'll look at that model next.
He's really angry.
It's kind of in the name, isn't it? Yeah, so he was afflicted by something called the Butcher's Nails, which we can go into when we do a lore video. Yeah, very angry. Basically, anything, the only kind of pleasure he can get in life is via violence. Anything else inflicts pain to him. So it's almost like it's almost a reverse to what I guess we would feel. Obviously, you have a fight or something, and you're going to be feeling pain. He feels pleasure when he gets that, and anything else, he feels pain.
Makes sense. Totally makes sense to me. Yeah.
It makes sense. It makes complete sense. Yeah. So, talking of Angron, then let's go over and look at the Angron model. So, click on this link here. Can you see the Angron model?
Yeah.
What a beast!
What is that? Is that like arms attached to wings? Does he have almost both? Because I can see biceps, so he's almost got like 4 arms and a wings.
So the biceps you're referring to, they're just his wings. They're the I guess the arms that he can fly with.
Like the army of the flying bat, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, he's a Primarch, or he's a fallen Primarch, a demon Primarch now, and he's a pretty angry fellow.
Yeah. Seems like a good person to have on your side.
But you were sort of talking about you might get a bloodthirster at some point.
Yeah.
Angron pretty much is a bloodthirster of sorts. So, I mean, he is a demon Primarch, but he is very bloodthirstery, very angry. You can see those wires coming out of his head. They're the butcher's nails. So they're implanted into his brain. So they directly affect his emotions and ramp up his anger.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, I definitely would lean towards this over a bloodthirster.
Yeah, he looks cool, doesn't he? I was kind of looking at this the other day and I was thinking, what would I prefer, Angron or Scarbrand? Because I love Scarbrand. Like, don't get me wrong, you know this. I love a bit of Scarbrand, but Angron is an absolute beast as well.
Yeah, and there's a fair amount of lore behind him too, right?
Oh man, yeah, he's got some good lore behind him. Very good lore behind him. He's had a bit of a tough deal, Angron. Very tough deal, but now he's working for the Blood God and living his best life.
Living the best life, yeah. Animal. Very nice.
Cool. And then the final thing we'll look at, which I missed on our list here, is the Khorne Berserkers. So have a quick look at these Khorne Berserkers. They're Chaos Space Marines. They're just Khorne based Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah.
Again, they're cool. I don't know why you don't want a few Space Marines in your Khorne army, because they're pretty good.
Yeah, I think anything armor related, I like to go with those Adeptus Mechanicus kind of look for a Khorne. A bit more Mars looking, if that's a thing, as opposed to because I have Grey Knights, right? So I have that kind of look and feel already.
Yeah, I think I've never actually seen it. I think it'd be cool to see a Dark Mechanicum type army for Khorne. You'd have to be quite melee heavy again, but it could work out pretty well.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Cool. So then let's move over to this next topic then. So there's the Ark of Omen series, which is some books have already been released. One book has been released, which is the Abaddon book. Do you know who Abaddon is, though, don't you, Gus?
Am I going to get this right? Is it Abaddon the Despoiler? Is that
yes.
character? Yeah. I've seen the mini film that Mini Wargaming did about Abaddon the Despoiler, so that's where most of my knowledge comes from. Yeah.
So Abaddon is basically the War Master of Chaos at this point in time, and this book. So he's had a few books, or he's been sort of a leading role in a few books. This book, he is at the forefront. That's why it's called Abaddon, and he is. I don't want to do a spoiler, but he's going to be hunting for specific relics, which are hopefully going to help mutually benefit him and another character that's coming up called Vashtor, who's a brand new character, and the third book that will be released in the spring. There's also a book sandwiched in the middle, Angron.
These Arks of Omen, this poster we have up looking at here, one of the chapter 2, is that like Diablo looking chap?
Yeah, so that's Angron, Gus.
Right.
You're right though. I didn't make that connection, but he looks similar to Diablo. Yeah.
They've got a little context page here. Does that mean he comes with some new rules apart this lore book, or is it?
So, there's never been an Angron model. This, Angron's a Primarch. I think it was only Magnus Red as a model for a long time, and then obviously we've got Guilliman now. Angron's being released, and then there are rumours that there's potentially, I mean, this is not confirmed or anything at this point in time, it's just rumours based off of what the law's doing, that we may get a Loyalist Primarch, the Lion, which would be absolutely amazing, and he's the Dark Angels Primarch.
That's cool. I'd be loved to get some of these books and maybe read some. That'd be great.
Yeah, it's good. It's all good stuff. So So Vashtor is an interesting one. He's a brand new character. He is he's a demon, but he's kind of like sandwiched in between a demon and a god almost. He's not quite god level. He's not chaos god level, but he wants to get there. That's his goal. He wants to be the 5th chaos god, the god of invention.
Right.
Which sounds quite cool.
If Necron somehow managed to be taken over by the Khorne, that's the kind of face I expect, like a Necron Khorne to be.
I thought similar. I thought he looks very Necron-y, and actually, do you know what? So something interesting. He actually runs the Soul Forge.
Wow.
So Necrons, when the Catan turned them in, or Necron tier, when they got turned into Necrons, they went through a Soul Forge. So I don't know if it's a similar sort of thing, but it's called a Soul Forge, and he's basically in charge of the Soul Forge in the Immaterium, so in the Warp, and the other Chaos Gods use him as almost like a warsmith of sorts, and he basically churns out any demonic engine. So you've got your I forget the name of it now, but your spidery type big war engine model. Vashtor would have made that. So this is new lore, new character. He sounds really cool. His model looks awesome too. We'll have a look at that at some point in the future. And then you've got the final book, which is going to be Xenos focused. All of these books as well, they have an underlying, or they have an accompanying set of rules to play a mini game almost with them. They're 500-point games, and it's called Boarding Action, the game, and it's all about, boarding onto ships of different sorts, and you battle for control of the ships. It's quite a cool little mini game. So the final book, which is a Xenos book, it could be Orc related, it could be another Chaos type thing, but it's apparently going to be Xenos, and it's probably more than likely going to be Tyranids, because there's a big rumor that there's going to be big new Tyranid release coming out, and at the start of 10th edition later this year. So it's probably going to set up for that. There'll probably be a Tyranid swarm on a rock or something like they do, and then the Space Marines or some other Imperium force will probably going to try and infiltrate and stop that particular Xenos hive from going wherever they're going.
Oh, so what this 500-point game thing, where do you get the units from? Can you use any units, or is there a specific set you need to use?
So you can't take... so as far as I'm aware, I've never played it or anything, but as far as I'm aware, you can't take larger units and vehicles. It's all about kind of more elite ground troops. So you've got to think of it as you're boarding a ship. So there's a specific type of troop you're going to take to do that. You're not going to take a tank, for example. Or a dreadnought or something. Well, maybe you would take a dreadnought. I don't know. But dreadnoughts aren't allowed. You got to take these more kind of small forces of ground infantry troops, and not just infantry, elite troops too. But it's more like personnel rather than vehicles.
Oh, yeah, makes sense. Okay, cool. So that wraps up our news segment for today. Tune back in a few days' time for some more news and rumor ramblings. Remember, if you liked it, hit like, and if you really liked it, hit subscribe.
And if you really, really liked it, hit that bell.
You and your bell.
Ring-a-ding-ding.
Bye.
Bye.